What is up, people? Welcome back. We are here for another edition, the breakdown here on the LoudMouth MMA Podcast Network. That's Max Freedman, your co-host, Trademark MMA, that you hear. And as always, my man joining me halfway across the world, maybe almost all the way across the world, Marcell Dorff. Big Marcell. Welcome back, my friend. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. I don't know halfway across the pond, man. I mean, I haven't been in school in 10 years and my geography isn't that great anymore. But like I said, I still can name 40 or 45 states from the U.S., so I think it's pretty decent. Thanks for having me again, man. Always great to be back. And, yeah, I have a big card in front of us, and let's do it, man. And I'm curious about your opinion about last week, man.
Yeah, well, we will definitely dive into all of that. But before we get started, the boys over at MMA DNA are back. They're doing it again. They're picking up scoops here left and right. Let the people know, Big Marcell, what did your team come up with this week? That's a big announcement.
So Khadis Ibrahimov, he will fight for the third time in the UFC against Roman Dolidze, who will make his UFC debut. Fight is in the works for June 13th, but the location is supposed to be Nur Sultan in Kazakhstan, but that's not 100% confirmed yet that will be actually the location because it's just not 100% confirmed yet, so we can't say that, but that's the target. That is where the UFC wanted to have it, so that's it.
It's a big announcement. I was kind of surprised to see Ibrahimov get another shot, but maybe they're hoping he can rekindle that M1 magic over in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, we got to add to that this will be the first time for Khadis that he has a full training camp for this one.
That's true. So keep those eyes on that, and this will be Roman Dolidze's UFC debut. I think all of his fights have been ended by a finish, so keep the eye on the gas tank on both sides on that one. All right, well, great news. Well done from the boys over at MMA DNA, getting that big scoop. And as always, you follow them on social media. You will not be disappointed. All the great content coming out of the Netherlands and the European scene and pretty much everywhere. You guys cover everything throughout the world. It's not you don't just stick to your European roots.
Yeah, we do what we can,
man. Well, last week, UFC Norfolk favorites and underdogs 6-6 on the evening, but more importantly, Big Marcell, it was your boy's first win of the year. 8-4 on the evening. You did a nice 7-5, but that title fight in air quotes as I do it across the screen was what got me the win for the evening. That came down to who would end the night with the 8-4 versus 7-5. Neither of us got any bonuses correct, but we did both hit on our underdogs. I hit on Brendan Allen, you hit on Sean Brady, and we both hit on our lock and Felicia Spencer. So that brings our totals to the year. Yeah, we really broke our back betting on a minus 800 favorite there, Big Marcell.
That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah. 43-29 for you, 39-33 for me. You have 3 bonuses. I have 1. You have 5 underdogs. I have 4. I am 5 of 6 on the locks. You are 4 of 6.
Yeah, dude, I don't give a fuck as long as I get, how do you say that, in a positive, every event positive. A positive finish every event, then I'm happy.
I think you finished positive last year. It was just there were some rough patches.
I don't mean positive in total, but I mean every event positive.
Gotcha.
I don't want a 2-11 event anymore.
Well, obviously, like every event, there are controversies that come about. So first and foremost, the weight miss for Davison Figueiredo misses the chance at the UFC flyweight title. Assuming the fight plays out the same way, would have walked away with the 125-pound crown. Now there is no one holding the 125-pound crown, and more speculation has surfaced on whether or not the division's going to fold. So what is your thought there, Big Marcell? Then we'll get into the second big controversy for the night.
Yeah, triple C became double C, and normally I like that, but this time I don't know. But I don't know what they're going to do. I think it will just go on. They recently signed Zalga Zumagulov from Fight Nights Global, the champion, flyweight champion. And we also Saw Igor Lazarin announcing Arman Ashimov, who will fight at the Dana White Contender Series on June 30th.
And his name Jeff Molina. That's Jeffrey Molina, isn't that his name? The flyweight prospect also signed for the Contender Series.
Yeah, and Dvorak, or how do you say that?
David Dvorak,
yeah. He also got signed. He's fighting in Brasilia. So I don't know, man. Maybe they are. I hope they are rebuilding it again. I think they lost some good prospects, honestly, in flyweight. I didn't agree with some of those cuts, but yeah, let's see what happens, man.
I almost rioted when my boy Matius Nicolau got cut. I think he's one of the most talented fighters, regardless of weight class, outside the UFC right now.
Total stupidity, man. Yeah, I agree.
But so obviously another big story come about, the 205-pound fight between Magomed Ankalaev and Iwan Kuchelaba stopped very early. Kuchelaba still on his feet. You had a great tweet. You paused the freeze frame of the scene where if you just pause at that point and you see referee Kevin McDonald's angle, Iwan Kuchelaba looks very visibly hurt. Granted, when they slowed the replay down, it didn't seem like many of the shots landed, but in that heat of the moment, at that angle, it looked like he might have been out on his feet. And you said the right thing. You said, I can see the point at stopping based on this view right here. And that could be what the referee's looking at. But nonetheless, it's been highly criticized all over social media that it was a bad stoppage. I got a feel for Magomed Ankalaev because, what did he basically gets this, he gets the TKO win, he gets the win money, but he doesn't get to showcase his skills. He does come out unscathed, but now it's all this controversy surrounding a win for him. And he was a big favorite in that fight.
Yeah, he came in ranked today at number 15, by the way.
Finally.
But man, I had to laugh when he was flipping the bird to the crowd. That was very funny, in my opinion. He was so annoyed by the crowd booing him. The thing is, I think. Listen, it was a bad stoppage, definitely, but Kuchelaba played himself a little bit there, man. I think he just sucks for him, And then there are some. I'm not gonna say any name, but there was a referee. You're probably not familiar with him, but over here is going to criticize Kevin McDonald. And I'm like, dude, you're probably one of the worst referees in the European circuit. Shut the fuck up. You probably don't know who he is. I will tell you his name after the podcast. But I hate that, man. I mean, don't trash your colleague like that, man. Big John McCarthy did the same on Twitter. And I'm like, dude, probably if this happened at Bellator, you wouldn't say shit. So I don't know.
Another smaller controversy, Spike Carlisle. What a great performance he had with a finish over Elon Cruz, a little bit over a minute in the first round. Lots of, commotion coming about, claiming that the elbow he landed was illegal. To me, it didn't look like it in real time. I think it's kind of hard to tell. It doesn't seem like a true downward 12-6. But nonetheless, I know the Cruz camp will be appealing it. I don't foresee that going in their favor, but I guess, did you see that the same way?
Difficult, man. I mean, he has it like this, But the thing is, you're moving, and I saw one person said it wasn't 12-6, it was 11-5, and I was like, okay, and that's strong for me to see that way. But I don't know, man. I think, listen, man, they can appeal it, but honestly, I don't see it getting overturned. So no. I think if that would be a 12-6 elbow, the referee should have came in, and now it's just, I don't see it. It's not a fight that's got overturned. And honestly, I don't think Ankalaev against Kuchelaba gets overturned, to be honest.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's been very rare where we've seen any kind of things overturned. It's only if it's something very, very
the last
clearly.
Time I remember was Drew Dober against Leandro Silva when
the referee, phantom tap.
Fucked up. But the referee actually admitted before before the commission that he didn't saw it and that he fucked up, and then they changed it because originally they didn't want it to change it until the referee came up and he's like, I made a mistake, blah blah blah, and then they changed it.
Yeah, and then obviously the Greg Hardy and Ben Sassoli fight with the inhaler. I mean, that's a clear violation right there. You had to overturn it. All right, well, we look ahead. We got a big weekend coming up, UFC 248. comes at you Saturday, March 7th from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Atop the bill, we got 2 title fights on deck, but we don't just break down the main event and the co-main event or any title fights. We go for the full thing, baby. So we kick things off in the prelims, bout order courtesy of our good friend, MMA Forum God on Twitter. As always, check out his great content, find out when those fights are playing in your region. Kicking things off, a pair of newcomers at featherweight, Jamal Emmers and Giga Chikadze. And I guess now that I said that, Giga Chikadze is not a newcomer anymore. He's fought in the UFC once already. So my apologies on that. But this is one of those situations where a fight between 2 different people turn into a fight between 2 different people because of injuries. So originally Movsar Evloev taking on Douglas Da Silva de Andrade. And, man, I was bummed for Evloev because he's had some tough luck in the UFC. He pulls out. Giga Chikadze, whose opponent Mike Davis dropped out last week to UFC Norfolk, now jumps into this slot, having been in camp for it. So he is a decorated kickboxer. He has 7 finishes on his resume. He had a draw that was actually changed to a split decision win in his UFC debut against Brandon Davis. Big Marcel, I don't know if that was a commission thing or if that was just a judging calculation error.
Yeah, it was a judging fuck-up, yeah. Immediately after the fight, that changed.
So pretty boy Jamal Emmers, he replaces the original combatant Douglas Da Silva in this one. He's 17-4, 30 years old. He's 0-2 in chances in front of Dana White. He lost to Thiago Moises on Dana White looking for a fight and then lost to Julian Erosa on the Contender Series in 2018. But comes off back-to-back wins in this one over Jay Cuccinello and Rafael Barbosa. Also holds a win over Corey Sandhagen. A win over Alex Hernandez, lightweight, and a win over former UFC fighter Chris Avila. So Big Marcel, Emmers, and Chikadze, who do you see coming out on top?
So yeah, maybe Jamal Emmers will be fortunate that Dana doesn't show his ass before the pay-per-view. But yeah, listen, man, I have to say one thing more. Movsar Evloev, there were big sites reporting he was riding a motorcycle and got hit by a car. He wasn't riding a motorcycle. He's riding a moped. He was riding a moped. I mean, that's a big difference, you know?
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
Yeah, exactly. So he wasn't riding a motorcycle. But, wishing all best to Movsar, by the way, in his recovery. We're going Jamal Emmers, Giga Chikadze. We know Giga Chikadze, he has a solid stand-up game. We saw that in Glory. He did very well in his debut against Brandon Davis. But, man, Jamal Emmers, long time coming UFC debut, I think. And I think he's a more complete fighter than Giga Chikadze. If Chikadze can keep it standing, he will probably have the advantage over Jamal Emmers. But Jamal Emmers is a more complete fighter, man. So I have to go with him. I'm taking him via unanimous decision.
Yeah, and I forgot to read the betting lines. Emmers, the -165 favorite, Chikadze +135. I don't have a great read on this fight, but I got to lean Emmers as well for being a more complete fighter for the same reasons. I'm going to take him via decision too, but like I said, not a good read. So maybe Chikadze. I was impressed with his kind of ability to keep things on the feet. He did not show that well in the Contender Series, but did in his debut against Brandon Davis. All right. Going down to bantamweight for this next one as Batgarel Dana taking on Guido Canetti. Dana is -135 favorite. Canetti is the +115 underdog. I think this could be the last time we see either of these guys fight. Canetti is 40 years old. He is from Argentina. 8-4 as a pro, 2-3 in the UFC. Has not fought since November of 2018. When he was finished by Marlon Chito Vera. Batgarel Dana is 30 years old. He is 6-2, coming out of Mongolia. Grabbed a fight of the night bonus in his UFC debut. It was a loss to Haley Alatang, but showed some toughness in that fight. 4 finishes and 6 wins, but very questionable competition. Big Marcel, Dana, and Canetti. How do you think this one goes?
Dana. Yeah, I mean, Dana, he got the fight of the night award, like he said, against Alatang Haley in his debut. He has actually a notable win on his record against Kai Kara France. That's a thing worth to say, I think. Guido Canetti, yeah, this is probably the how do you say that? The lowest competition in bantamweight right now in the UFC.
Yeah, bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, exactly. Um, a draw. I don't know. This is a very difficult fight to say. I'm not going to go a draw because that would be really weird. I think if I go with a draw, I should get 5 points. But no, I think Guido Canetti will take this one via a split decision. I don't know. And he call it a day after that.
I'm not a fan of Guido Canetti. I don't think he belongs in the UFC. And give me Dana split decision.
Dana.
That was a good one, Big Marcel.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, headlining the early prelims is a strawweight fight. Emily Whitmire and Polyana Viana. Polyana Viana is the -115, ever so slight favorite. Whitmire -105. Your good friend Suman Mokhtarian's favorite fighter, Polyana Viana. She's 28, 10-4 as a pro, but currently on a 3-fight losing streak and is 1-3 in the UFC overall. She's in bad need of a win. Whitmire is 4-3 as a pro, so the record doesn't jump off the page. 2-2 in the UFC. She was dominated and submitted by Big Marcel's favorite strawweight, Amanda Ribas, last time out. She's also 28, and here you go. For your TMZ update of the day, she is in a relationship with PFL's Johnny Case.
Yeah.
Big Marcel, break this fight down for me.
So after this amazing TMZ update by Max that we all knew already for 10 months, but thank you, Max. Emily Whitmire, like you said, she lost in the last fight against Amanda Ribas. Before that, a good win against Alexandra Albu, man. First round rear naked choke, a very quick. Coming off that Ultimate Fighter 26 season. Polyana Viana, 3 losses in a row. Her last loss via armbar submission against Max Freedman's favorite, Veronica Macedo.
Right back at me.
And our only win is actually against Maya Kahaunarele. I can't call her Stevenson anymore since she's with Joey Beltran now. So, yeah.
And she went from one old fighter to another old fighter.
Yeah, there's my TMZ update. You're welcome. So, yeah, this is a difficult one to pick because Polyana didn't look good in her recent fights at all. And Emily Whitmire didn't look that bad against Ribas. So I'm taking Emily Whitmire, man. I think she wins it. I think she wins it via unanimous decision.
I'm going to go the other way. I favor Viana to get her hand raised by decision. Whitmire's had some decent performances at strawweight, but I think Viana gets back on track here with a decision. All right, we go to the televised prelims, and leading things off, we got a middleweights on deck. Deron Wynn taking on Gerald Meerschaert. So, baby DC, Deron Wynn, 6-1. He's an All-American wrestler from Lincolnwood University. What up, St. Louis, Missouri? 1-1 in the UFC. He beat Eric Spicely, but lost a split decision to Darren Stewart. Gerald Meerschaert, 42-fight vet, 30-12. 1-3 in his last 4, but 2 of those razor-thin split decisions could have gone his way. He's out of Rufus Sport in Milwaukee. Big Marcel, Deron Wynn, and Gerald Meerschaert, these 2 are angling for a fight on Twitter. It comes to fruition. How do you think it goes down?
Yeah, you say could have gone his way. I say should have gone his way. Deron Wynn, to be honest, I also thought he defeated Darren Stewart, in my opinion. So, yeah, I mean, the funny thing is Deron Wynn has a guy in his corner which looked like 20 years older than him, but I know it's not his father, and I don't know who it is.
You sent me that picture on social media, and I cracked up because it looks like it would be his dad.
Yeah.
But it's not.
No, it's not.
Some random guy.
Yeah. It's one of his coaches. I don't know his name. So, yeah, I think I'm going with Gerald Meerschaert here, man. I think he gets, how do you say, gets back on track, and I think he wins here, man. I think a decision win for Gerald Meerschaert. I think the height advantage and probably the reach advantage will play a big part in this one. I think Gerald is a very smart guy to fight, and I think he will take the moment. He will take the moments he can take, and maybe even a finish. But I'm going with unanimous decision here.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Meerschaert, and I think he has a chance to win this fight in the later rounds. What I don't like is he is so comfortable on his back because he's very decorated in jiu-jitsu, and I think Wynn's just going to be a little too tough to submit and might score with those takedowns. So I'm going to go the other way. Deron Wynn, split decision.
Do you see what Max is trying to do here? Just trying to get after me, man.
Go the other way. Big Marcell, 3 out of 4 picks for you are betting underdogs, my friend.
I'm pretty sure the next one we have all both the same.
I'm thinking the next 3 we have the same, but let's go ahead and go into it. Middleweights sticking around here. Rodolfo Vieira taking on Saparbek Safarov. Vieira is the biggest betting favorite on the card at minus 800. Safarov is a plus 550 underdog, so he drops to 185 after going 1-2 at 205. He was finished in his first 2 fights, but won his last fight against Nick Negumereanu. Where's he been, Big Marcell? Is he going to get another fight in the UFC?
I don't know, man.
Questionable.
He's still trying to
recover. He's 33 years old. Vieira, meanwhile, we know he's extremely decorated jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's the black belt hunter. Is 30 years old, 6-0 as an MMA pro. All finishes, including that UFC debut in Uruguay when he strangled Oscar Picota. Big Marcell, I'm going Vieira all day here. I think he needs to avoid the bombs on the feet, but I think he strangles him at the end of the first round. Submission first round for Vieira. What about you?
Yeah, we have Rodolfo Vieira against Saparbek. I have the lifeguard in my corner, Safarov.
Was Dmitry Smolyakov in his corner?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh man, he's gonna be. He might need that lifeguard.
Yeah, I mean, Safarov, I have nothing against it, but he's probably one of the low-tier Russians in the UFC right now.
Yeah.
And he fought dirty, man, against Nick Negumereanu.
He did.
That was kind of ugly, and the referee didn't do anything about it. Rodolfo Vieira, like you said, good debut against Oscar Picota. Before that, he did well in ACA as well, man. He defeated Vitaly Nemchinov, who was undefeated at that moment via first round rear naked choke. Vieira all day, man. Submission first round. This is a showcase fight for Vieira.
Yeah, it really is. Especially on this card, too.
Yeah.
All right, well, we go down to lightweight for this next one. Mark Madsen taking on Austin Hubbard. Madsen is the minus 220 favorite. Austin Hubbard out of Colorado is the plus 180 underdog. And I will let you kick things off for this one, Big Marcell.
Oh, that is so nice of you. Thank you so much, Trademark MMA. So Mark Madsen, he won his debut against Danilo Belluardo in the co-main event of UFC Copenhagen. I know Al Zulino really liked that one.
He absolutely steamrolled Danilo Belluardo. And sorry to our good friend Alfredo Zulino at Frey. And hopefully, on a more serious note, all our friends out in Italy and the rest of the world affected by the coronavirus are out there staying safe, because I know it's spreading rather quickly out there.
Definitely, man. So, Madsen, he won his debut. Like I said, Austin Hubbard got that short notice call, or it wasn't a short notice call, right? To Davi Ramos. It was an actual signing. He lost that one, but he did well against Kyle Pripolek, and he won that one in September last year. I don't know, man. I mean, Hubbard was the former LFA champion, but man, by the way, do you know what happened to Harvey Park?
Yeah, he got beat up by Omar Morales on the Contender Series.
I know, but the LFA today announced that Jacob Rosales is fighting. Was he fighting again, man? Local guy.
Bryce Logan.
Yeah, Bryce Logan for the lightweight championship. So yeah. I wonder where that leaves Harvey Park. But
I think he had to vacate it when he went to the Contender Series. So, and he hasn't fought since, I don't believe.
Good call. Of course, he had to vacate it. Yeah, good call. Yeah, man, I'm taking Mark Madsen here, man. I think he gets done with his wrestling, unanimous decision win.
Yeah. Hubbard, I think Hubbard is a solid guy to watch. You mentioned the LFA title, training at Elevation Fight Team in Colorado, but Madsen's wrestling is next level, and I think he gets it done here. I'm going to take Madsen by a TKO in the second round. You said Madsen by a decision?
Yeah.
All right. Headlining the televised prelims is a bantamweight fight. Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Jose Teco Quinones O'Malley is a big minus 380 favorite. Tecco is the plus 315 underdog. O'Malley is 10-0. He's another unbeaten bantamweight and is finally back in action. He has been out of action for 2 years, March of 2018. But in the meantime, he's had fights with Tecco and Marlon Chito Vera scratched due to USADA cannabis violations. Had some nice performances on the quintet grappling event last year. But meanwhile, Jose Quinones is 8-3 as a pro, 5-2 in the UFC. He had a win streak snapped by Nathaniel Wood, but bounced back nicely, a win over Carlos Quashin late last year. So Big Marcel, Sean O'Malley, and Jose Tecco Quinones, what do you see going down?
I told you before what I think about Jose Quinones, right? He's like probably the least impressive bantamweight with the best record. So that's what I think about Quinones. And this is also a fight where the UFC is sending up Sean O'Malley to get the win, another win here, and to extend his record, undefeated record. And he will do that, man. I don't see Quinones winning against O'Malley in this fight. I think O'Malley will be a step ahead of him, and I see O'Malley finishing this fight in the second round via a TKO, ground and pound.
So I'm going to have to disagree in that Tecco, I think, is a solid competitor. He could have some success in this fight, but we have seen him struggle with those real athletic and real well-rounded guys. So I'm taking O'Malley as well via decision. But I wouldn't say he is the least impressive bantamweight with the best record, although he does have a good
one of the least. And you just don't dare to say it because you're friends with Marco Beltran and you're afraid that he will beat you up by talking shit about his Mexican friend.
Hey, also I've met Tecco a few times too, so
yeah. That's why exactly. But I have nothing against Tecco. He's a good dude, man. But I don't think he.
Yeah, I watched McGregor Nate Diaz first fight with them, and Tecco's English is not great. I'll put it at that. But when I did ask him, I started asking him about like who he trains with at Alliance, and then he just kept talking and telling me like every single person he had ever sparred with in the history of the Alliance MMA gym, which I thought was pretty funny. But he said he does a lot of work with Jeremy Stevens.
Okay, but it's good that he doesn't understand English then if he hears this podcast, because then I have to hide.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. And then, here you go. Another TMZ update for you. He used to date Jessica Penne. There you go.
Okay. I didn't know
that. All right. Main card time. And we start things off at welterweight. Alex Cowboy Oliveira and Max Griffin. These welterweights are exciting fighters, but both need a win badly. Cowboy Oliveira, 9-5. And one no contest in the UFC at 31 years old. He comes into this one off 3 straight losses, most recently to Nicholas Dalby by decision in Copenhagen last September. He's rumored to have some legal issues outside the cage, but nothing recently. Max Payne Griffin trains at the Sacramento team MMA Gold. He is 34 years old. He missed a chance to fight on The Ultimate Fighter 16 back in the day. For those who don't know, he was eliminated in the entry-level elimination round, but made his way back to the promotion. He's lost 3 of 4 and 4 of 6. Most recently dropped a very close decision to Alex Morono, but many thought he won that fight. Big Marcel, Max Griffin, and Alex Oliveira. I know the first thing you're going to say is that he had the robbery of the year with Thiago Alves. Don't need to say it. You've already said it 800 times on this podcast, but go ahead.
So every time I think about Alex Oliveira, I think about this.
What was that from?
That's his entrance song when he's starting dance.
Okay.
So always when I think about Alex Oliveira, I see him dancing like crazy. But Alex Oliveira, didn't look great in his last fights, man. I think the Dalby fight wasn't that bad, but before that one, the Perry fight didn't look great. Gunnar Nelson first round did look great, but got beat in the second one. It's been a long time since Alex Oliveira actually was consistent in the UFC, I think. Don't you think? Do you want to
Yeah,
say
but
something?
no. I was looking at a note for an upcoming fight, and I know it's gonna make you laugh, so I'm gonna hold off on
Okay.
it.
Okay. Cool. So, yeah, Max Griffin, like you said, that was a close fight against Alex Morono. Um, he he is on a. He only won one fight in his last four against Zalim Imadaya. Should have been two, but I won't go any further in detail about that because you don't want to hear it anymore. I'm so sorry.
Did
Um,
you think he lost? What did you think of that fight against Morono? Do you think that
I
was the
think
right
Morono
decision?
won. Yeah.
Okay.
You?
I scored it for Griffin, but I didn't think it was that big of a robbery.
I'm not surprised you scored it for Griffin, by the way. You always go against me, so nah, it was close fight. Could have gone either way. So I'm taking Max Griffin in this fight, man. Unanimous decision.
I'm no expert, but Cowboy Oliveira has not looked the same recently, and he just doesn't seem to be there mentally anymore. I think Griffin outworks him. Unanimous decision too. So kind of surprised that is your pick, but we're both going with it. All right.
Yeah.
Next up, we stick around at 170, and we got Lee the Leech Jingliang taking on Neil Magny. The Leech is the minus 165 favorite. Neil Magny is the plus 145 underdog. And Big Marcel, it is your turn to kick things off here.
Okay, yeah, Neil Magny. Last fight against Santiago Ponzinibbio, he lost that one via KO in the fourth round, and he was actually supposed to fight Vicente Luque earlier last year, but he got flagged by USADA. But I think he got, how do you say that?
Cleared. Yeah,
Yeah, cleared.
cleared of
Yeah.
wrongdoing.
So I always hate that when that happens, by the way. But yeah, it happens often, unfortunately. Before that fight, he had two wins against Carlos Condit and Craig White, who actually people were hell high on him, man, when he came to the UFC. But 0-2, losses to Neil Magny, which can happen. Was short notice, I think. And but then Diego Sanchez, that was pretty decisive. Li Yingliang, dude, he actually does well. Only his Jake Matthews fight where we brutally eye gouged him. Except for that fight, he did very, very well. He actually defeated Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos via KO in the third round, late in the third round, and he would have won that fight if it wasn't would it have been a KO, because he was pretty much dominating that fight, which I was surprised by. Magny is not very consistent, doesn't fight very often. Li Jingliang does. I'm going for the upset here. I'm taking Li Jingliang, and I think he stops Magny via KO in the second round.
So Neil Magny, his first couple years in the UFC, man, he was fighting every month. That guy was incredible. And then you said it, only 4 fights in the last 3 years, but still 14-6 in the UFC. The Leech has that power. We know that. But these are the fights I think Magny like shines in. He's usually able to close the distance and kind of grind out wins against these heavy hitters. So I'm going the upset here. I'm going Magny via decision in this one.
That's not an upset in my opinion, but okay.
According to Vegas, it is, my friend.
I don't care about Vegas. I care about myself and my own, what I think.
That should be your patent. I don't care. All right. Lightweights up next. Beneil Dariush and Drakkar Klose. Dariush, the minus 170 favorite. The comeback on Drakkar Klose is plus 150. This fight was originally set for International Fight Week 2019, but Dariush pulls out because of injury. Dariush is 17-4-1, 11-4-1 in the UFC at King's MMA. Benny Dariush, what are you signaling at me?
Come with your TMZ update for this one.
It's not time yet.
Okay.
All right. So you knew that's what it was going to be. He's a very well-rounded fighter, high-level grappling credentials. Meanwhile, Drakkar Klose, or actually, no, sorry. Dariush still on that 3-fight win streak, back-to-back submissions over Drew Dober and Frank Camacho. I picked against him in both those fights, and man, did I look wrong. Klose is 11-1. He's also on a 3-fight win streak, 5-1 in the UFC. All 6 fights have gone the distance. He's currently training at Fight Ready Gym, home of Henry Cejudo, under the tutelage of Eddie Cha and Santino De Franco. What up, Ultimate Fighter Season 9, Santino De Franco. That's a throwback. And here you go. TMZ update of the day. Drakkar Klose is dating UFC strawweight Courtney Casey. Big Marcel. Flyweight now, I guess, yeah. Yeah, she will be taking on her fight at UFC San Diego will be a flyweight, former strawweight. Did you know that was coming, Big Marcel?
I didn't know why you were laughing, and I didn't know then. But when I saw this fight, I was like, oh, maybe it means that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
because because Courtney Casey was first called Courtney Casey Sanchez, and
yeah,
now it's
I
Courtney
remember
Casey again. So yeah, that makes sense.
that. But and I'll pick first. This will be the toughest grappler Drakkar Klose has fought. But man, I keep picking wrong against both these guys. I think he staves off the Dariush attack, wins the battle on the feet, and edges out an ever so close decision. Drakkar Klose by a decision. All right, go for it.
Yeah. So Benil Dariush, he has a very, how do you say that? He knows what he has to do to win a fight, and close as well, by the way. But he,
Cerebral. He's very cerebral. He's very,
yeah,
yeah.
he just does most of the time enough to win a fight. And his last two fights were finishes. That was good, but I think against Dober, he was behind on the scorecards before he finished him. And the Camacho fight, I don't think. Listen, I like Camacho, but I don't think he's on the same level as Dariush, and I don't think Camacho's on the same level as Close. Close fight. I'm taking Dariush via unanimous decision, but a very close fight could go either way. But
Right.
close fight. I wanted to say one thing more, but I forgot. So whatever.
All right. Well, it's time for the co-main event of the evening and the first of two title fights we have on tap for Saturday. The UFC strawweight champion, Weili Zhang. I've heard her referred to as Zhang Weili as well, so I don't know exactly which one. I kind of get confused as far as Chinese culture, what is the proper way to pronounce names, because there's quite a few differences. For example, Song Yadong, his shorts say Song is his last name, but Li Jingliang, the shorts say Jingliang is his last name, so I don't even know.
Listen, man, Reebok made those shorts, and they even don't know. So
They probably don't know. They're going off. They're just guessing over there.
I mean, Marcio Lioto Machida.
Yeah, Alexandre Jr. Oh, Marcio Lioto Machida. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Gilbert Melendez, Rebecca Rawlings. Can we go on?
I forgot about all those. Man, that was
you
funny.
did. I did. What was it? Anderson Aldo, or what was that one again?
Oh man, I'm forgetting it. It wasn't for one of those too, right? It was for like someone else. It was for like Anderson Dos Santos or somebody.
Anderson
And then I remember Cody Pfister. They didn't even put the P in front of the F in his last name.
Great.
Man, that's funny.
Great.
All right. Well, Zhang Weili, minus 170, favored against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who is sitting at 4 in the rankings at plus 150 on the betting line. And this is a little hard to predict here. I mean, Zhang is the current champion. She captured that title. She absolutely dispatched Jessica Andrade with ease in the first round in August. That was in her home country of China in Shenzhen. 20-1 as a pro. She lost her pro debut and then has won 20 straight fights, including her first 5 in the UFC. 17 of 20 wins are finishes. Joanna Jędrzejczyk is the long-time UFC strawweight champ. She's 16-3 as a pro, 10-3 in the UFC. 2 of those losses come to Rose Namajunas, and then the flyweight title loss to Valentina Shevchenko. But she comes into this one off a one-sided win over Michelle Waterson. Many were complaining that she got the title shot over Tatiana Suarez. We know Tatiana Suarez is injured and on the shelf, cannot compete at the moment. It came out today that Rose Namajunas actually turned down the title fight with Weili Zhang. So maybe that explains why Joanna Jędrzejczyk got this opportunity. Big Marcel, we got a champion, we got a challenger, 5 rounds, 115 pounds. Who comes out on top?
Cock Rose. That's still the best quote ever by DC.
By DC.
Yeah. So I'm pretty convinced in my pick over here, man. I think Weili Zhang knocks out Joanna in the second round. That's going to happen. I mean, people are like, "Oh, Joanna, she's so dangerous, this and that." She is a very good fighter, very good stand-up fighter. Her technique is very clean, but she hasn't finished a fight since 2015. people are still thinking about that for those two fights against Esparza and Penne, where she defeated, absolutely destroyed basically restless.
Yeah, two
Esparza was,
grapplers.
two grapplers. So after that, all were she won. She won against Letourneau, dominating fight. Gedalia, she had problems in the first two, but she turned it around. Um, and after that, actually she did well, but she didn't reach that level anymore where everybody had that wow factor, in my opinion. And Zhang got that wow factor right now, man. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. We will see, but I'm thinking Willie Zhang, second round KO, bam.
Bam. Yeah, Joanna, I think you hit the nail on the head. Very well-rounded, very technical striker. But Zhang Weili is just too much for her. She finds a way to win. TKO, third round for me. All right, main event of the evening time. 5 rounds in the UFC's middleweight division. The champion, Israel Adesanya, minus 275 favorite against the number 3 ranked Yoel Romero at plus 235. And Big Marcel, I remember when this fight was announced, fans were outraged at the thought of this title fight. Yeah. Usually it's fighters coming off winning streaks or former champion immediate rematches for titles, but that is not the case here. Yoel Romero is 13-4. He is 42 years young, and he comes into this title fight off back-to-back losses and losses in 3 of 4 fights. So what did you think when you saw this fight announced?
Max, I love you. See you soon, boy. But yeah, I didn't agree with it. I understand it from a how do you say that? From a promotional point of view. But let's be honest, man. Romero 2-fight losing streak. You shouldn't fight for a title. That's just my opinion. Even when it's definitely an appealing fight, it's definitely a fight I'm looking forward to. But it shouldn't be the case, in my opinion. But they did the same with Aldo against Cejudo. So yeah, what can you do? I don't know. And also the thing that Romero hasn't made weight in 2 of his 3 title fights, man.
Another point.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens on Saturday. But you never know, man. Maybe he doesn't make weight again. I don't know. I know he hit it on the mark last time against Paulo Costa. So maybe he will make weight this time. But we have to see, man.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Jared Cannonier on standby if they miss weight or if any mishaps happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead with what's your prediction for this fight, Big Marcel?
I think, by the way, Cannonier deserved the fight, but Cannonier didn't get the fight because he is not marketable at this moment for the UFC.
Yeah, they must have different plans for him because he would have been my pick with Paulo Costa injured.
Yeah. So I think Israel Adesanya is too quick for Romero, man. I think Romero, he's a pure athlete, maybe one of the best athletes in the UFC. But we also saw against Costa, it is all heavy what he does, but he's tired at a certain moment of time. And Adesanya, he has a great cardio. He doesn't get tired or that bad tired. I think if Romero wants to beat him, he has to hit him in the first round hard or in the second round. Knock him down and knock him out. Or he probably tries to wrestle him, but we saw Adesanya has some good takedown defense. So I'm taking Adesanya. I think Adesanya gets it done third round TKO.
Yeah, Adesanya, the last style bender, 18-0, 7-0 in the UFC, en route to the UFC gold. Man, he earned that undisputed championship, knocking out Robert Whittaker last time. And as we know, Big Marcel, he trains out of the illustrious City Kickboxing, your favorite team to bet against. But apparently
you can't let it go, dude. You can't let it go.
No, but not this time. No, I'm with you. Israel Adesanya is way too quick, way too talented. He's not going to get caught in this one. I think he finds a way to finish it either late in the second, early in the third round. All right, well, we got to hand out bonuses, and it is my turn to pick fight of the night first, and I'm going to go with Max Griffin Cowboy Oliveira. Where are you at?
Main event.
Okay. Now go ahead and hand out your performance of the night bonuses. Give me your 2 official predictions and then your backup 2.
So because the UFC want to keep the rich people rich, Israel Adesanya gets another one, and Weili Zhang gets the other one.
Okay. How about your backups?
My backups. Those are on my hard drive, extended hard drive. But my backups, I'm going with. Let's go with the two grappling aces, Mark Madsen and Rodolfo Vieira.
All right.
I have Madsen by a unanimous decision, so I shouldn't pick him, man. What am I talking about? Going with I'm sorry, man, before interrupting you. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Let's take Li Jingliang and
Well, do you want to keep Vieira?
Yeah, Rodolfo Vieira.
All right. So my official winners are going to be Vieira and Weili Zhang, and backups Adesanya and Madsen. All right. The underdog of the night for me is going to be, my options are Drakkar Klose, Neil Magny, or Max Griffin. I'm going to go Drakkar Klose. Your options, Big Marcel, are Max Griffin, Gerald Meerschaert, Emily Whitmire, Guido Canetti.
Yeah, let's go with Gerald Meerschaert on this one, man. Did you
right.
know, by the way, that Jamal Amers? Do you know that Amers means buckets in Dutch?
No, buckets.
Yeah.
Do you watch basketball at all?
Yeah, sometimes. Why?
So like the slang terminology for a basket is a bucket.
Yeah.
If you make a three, bucket.
Okay.
All right, who's your lock of the evening, Marcel?
I love it that you don't say anymore. What was your lock? So my lock of the evening, yeah. Let's go crazy here, and I'm taking Rodolfo Vieira.
I'll go with Sean O'Malley. All right, let's recap this thing and get out of here. We're split on we're both taking Jamal Emmers, a.k.a. Jamal Buckets, in the first fight of the evening. Split on the next one. Big Marcel's got Guido Canetti. I got Bakiril Dana. I'm taking Polyana Viana. Big Marcel's got Emily Whitmire. I got Deron Wynn. He's got Gerald Meerschaert. Both have Rodolfo Vieira. Both have Mark Madsen. Both have Sean O'Malley. Both have Max Griffin. I'm taking Neil Magny. He's got Li Jingliang. I've got Drakkar Klose. He's got Beneil Dariush. We both have Weili Zhang over Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and both have Israel Adesanya over Yoel Romero. For fight of the night, I'm going Max Griffin, Cowboy Oliveira. Big Marcel's got Israel Adesanya, Yoel Romero. His performance of the night bonus winners are Israel Adesanya and Weili Zhang. I got Weili Zhang and Rodolfo Vieira. Our backups for me are Mark Madsen and Israel Adesanya. For Big Marcel, it's Li Jingliang and Rodolfo Vieira. Underdog of the night for me is Drakkar Klose. For Marcel, it's Gerald Meerschaert. And lock of the night for me is Sean O'Malley. Lock of the night for Marcel is Rodolfo Vieira. Any final thoughts on UFC 248?
Nothing. I don't know what to say.
Once again, I envy you for being able to watch this free of charge on Fight Pass.
Yeah, it's not free on Fight Pass. I have to pay for Fight Pass as well if I want to see it. It's
Veronica
on Veronica
TV. Yeah. Maybe I'll just try to download Veronica TV app and see if I can trick it into thinking I'm in the Netherlands.
Try.
All right. Well, want to remind everyone to click and subscribe to the LoudMouth MMA Podcast Network. Wherever you get your podcasts, you get all the great content you could find between the Not Safe for Work MMA show, Off the Cuff, the MMA Takeover, All Angles, UFC Recap Show, Early Stoppage, MMA Yesterday, Between the Links, whatever you want to hear. Click, subscribe, follow, get all the great content by the LoudMouth MMA Podcast Network. Big Marcel, where can people find and follow you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Big Marcel 24 on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find MMADNA.nl also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Be sure to give them a follow, get all the latest and breaking fight announcements. Follow me at Trademark MMA on Twitter. Thank you again for tuning in, and we will be back next week because the fun doesn't stop. We got UFC Brasilia coming up next week. Kevin Lee, Charles Oliveira, man, I'm looking forward to that fight a lot.
Brazil, yeah, da, 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 da.
Thank you again, everyone.
Red rose, pink